Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so welcome everyone. This is Hunt from Home by Mozilla Karnataka. Today's speaker would be Ujjwal Kumar, experience in hunting security bugs, and today he'll be explaining his work. So, how a little of information about how Chrome works, how specifically how Firefox Gecko engine works. So, let's begin the event, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you for introducing me, Abhijit. So, yeah, basically, the very important point which we all need to know about this is why UI bugs, right? I mean, as developers, I mean, most of us here are developers or have been from tech background, so we understand that that UI bugs, we take it very lightly. We don't give that due importance to it. But then when you any development is always related to business point of view and business perspective. From that perspective, if you see, as per my personal experience, let me narrate you my personal experience while I didn't know about rendering engines, right? So I was developing a website. I was pretty new to development. That was my first professional website which I was developing. And what happened was, I wrote this set of valid CSS code and everything was good, and I use a Windows computer. So while I wrote it, everything worked well in my, Mozilla, Opera, or Chrome browsers. But then the client for which I was developing the website, he went on to complain that the CSS effects aren't working in his Safari, in his iOS phone and laptop as well. So he told me to fix it. I was not able to understand what is wrong. Everything looks right. CSS code is right. HTML is right. I wasn't aware about what rendering engines could be or how it could be impactful. That's when Abhijit had told me about rendering engines, and he told me to check that iOS uses WebKit. I was like, damn, what is this? So I went on to look for it, and then that's when I realized that there was something called as rendering engines which facilitated how browsers worked, right? So that's when I got introduced to it. And business and UI bugs are important in this way, that to the business person or for the business prerogative, if you're building a website or a platform, for the client who does not know much about technology, the client might not understand much about how what is happening in the backend. All he cares is how the website looks or how the graphics look. So at that point of time, graphics come into the play, and when your rendering engines UI bugs aren't properly set up, that's when it could create a problem. So it could create a problem like, that website works well only in one or two different browsers, say Chrome or just Firefox or Opera, but in longer run it might not be good to cater all customers. So that's the importance of UI bugs. Sorry, I skipped over agenda, as it was written in the Mozilla website as well. As agenda, today we'll be covering four important points. You must have read it. Anyway, I'll just cover it again as a part of formality. So we would be explaining how you could hunt UI bugs for Gecko rendering engines. Gecko rendering engines is what Mozilla and its dependencies use. I use Mozilla Developer Edition and CyberFox and Mozilla Firefox and a lot more. So second, Ravi would give you a live demonstration of bug hunting, and he would explain you how it would be good. Then how ninjas find bugs effectively. The methodology would be covered. And then we would cover how could you find and report these bugs, right? Because since we are in the development circle, what matters to us is, we 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 always strive to make things better and better for for a lot of, for the entire community. That's what developers are for, right? We make changes, we do smallest of the smallest changes. We change colors, we write code for just putting an underline before, I mean, below a line. So that's how we define things, just to make user experience better. So this one stop solution could make that user experience better. So our goal from today's workshop is moreover about how we could educate the local community about the Gecko rendering engines. I've already told the importance of it, apart from demonstrating the live hunting of bug, of course. And then we would involve you, or the Mozilla is currently running Hunt from Home phase 2 campaign. So how you could get involved to this campaign, and you could contribute to the beautiful open source community Mozilla has, because Mozilla is one of the communities which does not work for profit, but it's more of, you know, the open source idea and the open idea uh, which is talked about, and not just meager profit which other greedy companies could have. So only developers who care for the community are pillars of this. So as developers, it's important that we hunt for right bugs and we report it and get it fixed. So all these projects, the Firefox browser itself is a open source anyway. So yeah, I'd put this meme so that you guys don't get bored. So basically, I don't know if you, okay, Ravi Jain's, I mean, the screen is not fully visible, but I'm sure he would have like 100 tabs open, or we all would have experienced that, lots of tabs being open. So that's one thing. Then yeah, and if you have seen the Firefox, you know, the logo, if you have seen carefully, it looks like a fox is hugging the world. And right now, I don't know, the world needs a hug of positivity. Definitely not literally, because the coronavirus is very popular. And then, yeah. So can we move ahead, Ravi? Next slide. Yeah. So I explained why UI bug hunting. I think I spoke about it in the very beginning itself. Why UI bug hunting is it importance, and how this is important from a business point of view, rather than just dismissing it. This, even though you take it lightly, this could be of very much importance when it comes to specific things. A lot of companies focus just on you know, how content look. I myself, if I build a website, to me what matters is how the user experience looks, and user experience can be bettered only by eliminating UI bugs and having it better across all browsers. So what is rendering engine, right? So just roughly, I have put up a blog. I'll just show you. You might have gone through the blog as well. So let me just show you a website. Give me a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Ravi, could you turn off the presentation, I guess, if that works? Yeah, I think my screen should be visible. Yeah, so you can see even I have these many browsers open. So yeah, so if you look at, I had seen few blogs. Yeah, so this is the blog which I have written, which you can refer always for today's event as well, and general clarity. So what is a rendering engine? If you can see my screen, it takes HTML code and interprets it into what you see visually. All right, I'm just reading and telling it out. But then again, the graphical part of it, if you need to understand the depths of it, you can always refer this blog. Apart from that, I have even attached a link. I guess this link leads to this blog. So this blog has it very clearly in depth about how browsers work. So basically, browsers have these 7 key components. What is accessible to us is the user interface, but in background there's something called as, like, there's browser engine, and then there comes rendering engine, which directly, you know, operates or communicates from the backend, apart from having the data persistence layer. So what matters to us primarily in this paradigm is the rendering engine. So it takes HTML code and interprets it to what you see visually, right? There is always something which interprets things, like you write some code, then the compiler converts it into machine language, and then it goes on. So in the same way, the HTML code is interpreted into visual elements by this rendering engines. That's where it comes into important picture. And different setups could use different rendering engines, like Google and Opera and their variants use Blink, which is pretty large number, 43%. And then Internet Explorer uses Trident, then Firefox and its variants uses Gecko, Safari uses WebKit, and so on, right? These are pretty similar to each other, but a lot of functionalities vary, at least in the older versions of CSS. So again, you'll get the link of this blog later on. But yeah, it contains JavaScript, engine, network layer, storage, and all those things. I'll not bug you about theory a lot. So you could read about it in depth in this. So I explained, my entire perspective was to explain you about what rendering engines are. So yeah, so now since you know rendering engines and there could be visual bugs when you operate from browser to browser, how would you operate if you come across a bug, right? So I think Ravi would be in a better position to explain that, I think. So let Ravi present. I'll just switch off my presentation. Yeah, off on to Ravi. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute. Thank you, Ujjwal.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be telling you about how exactly you can proceed with bug hunting. 1 minute. Let me present my screen. Hmm. Yes. So, one thing which is looking differently than what it should appear. Can you claim it to be a bug? Okay, there might be few factors which might be affecting it. Before you can say directly like it is a rendering engine issue or this issue has arisen. The issue could be from the local cache and cookies. For example, the cookie link might get correct, or you might have outdated version of the cookies in caches, which might cause bug happen. So it's always advised to start with bug hunting, and you can easily get it done. Okay, apart from the normal method of clearing caches and cookies, you can also do hard refresh, that is Control Shift R in Windows and Linux, and for Mac users it's Command Shift R. The website will be fetched again from the origin, that is from the servers, instead of fetching it from the local caches. Second one is reset zoom. For some users, it might be a case he would have or she would have like zoomed in for a better experience for their own comfort, but later this might cause some bugs to happen in website. It's able to have the screen resolution to 100%, and by tapping on Control 0, the font size is like you might see very small. You would have increase the minimum font size value, the preference settings. If that is the case, then bugs to happen. It is not generally happening, but still it's advisable to keep the minimum font size to the normal version, that is none. Do it by going to about preferences, font color, advanced, and final minimum font size to none. The page style. Then some users might be experiencing slow internet speed. They will page styling. audible?
I guess it's lagging a bit, at least to me, the voice.
Okay. I'll be a bit slow. I don't know what is the issue with it. Okay. Kill styles. Uh, People using dial-up connections in older days or people from rural areas might experience low internet speed, so they might turn off the page styling, which brings heavy UI graphic elements in your browser. So if that is the case with you, you need to turn it on, back of no style, and it can be easily done by going to the settings, view tab, page style, and basic page style. So for some reason, people turn off the JavaScript, for example, to bypass the surveys, to avoid a few triggering uh, scripts which irritates us. So you need to turn on your JavaScript because there might be few specific scripts which modifies your UI element. And there are few extensions also such as node strips and user firewall, so you need to check all of them whether they are blocking your JavaScript from loading. So make sure that this thing is all right before you claim a particular web page to have a bug. And there are few dynamic websites which runs on the system clocks, like you need to have well synchronization with your system clock and the world clock. If that is not the case, there might be a few errors or some UI bug. So it's better that you get your PC clock synchronized with the internet before moving on with bug hunting. And there are a few problematic extensions such as dark mode and high contrast extensions which might not be coded well and which might cause your UI to look a bit off than the normal version. So it is advisable like you turn off all the extensions before uh, doing bug hunting. And there are also a few hardware acceleration graphic tools available, such as Nvidia provide their own set of graphic tools which can boost the graphic performance, but they might also cause some bugs to arise which might not be rendering engine bugs, which might be the bugs of your Nvidia graphic cards or whichever graphic cards you're using. Now if all of those about 7 checklists were cleared and still you find a bug, that means it's a genuine bug. You can claim it to be a bug and you can directly report it to a website or to the web page. So it is a very formal 4-step procedure of reporting a bug. The step one is, as explained by the co-speaker Ujjwal, what web render is. It basically converts your code to UI elements. And web render, you need to enable the web. In the first place, you need to use Chrome nightly. That is the second one over here. Receives updates almost days or mostly like in a week. They continuously work on the active issues and keep fixing them. For instance, you find a bug in normal Firefox uh, browser, but that bug would have been fixed in this nightly version. So it is advisable that you use nightly version for bug hunting rather than using your normal Firefox browser, because the bug which you might be claiming would be a duplicate or would already been fixed by the community. And I'll tell you the method to enable this web renderer. So you need to go to this about, you need to type this about config in your address bar. Then you need to type gfx.webrender .all, and then you'll get an option that will be to enable it. It will be over that will be marked as false. You can flip it and make it on. After that, you can start with your bug hunting, and then if you find something off on a particular website, we have given a set of list of a website where you can do bug hunting. If you can find bug over there, it's nice. But in case if you're not able to find bug over there, you can go to any other website and find for bugs. And if you find a bug which is like, if you find a UI element which is looking off from the normal like the normal appearance, then you need to first go and turn this web render off and then again load the website. And still if you find, and if you still find the UI element to be distorted, that means it is an issue from the particular website. The coding is not done well. But in case if you find the element to be fixed after turning off the web renderer, that means it was an issue of the web renderer. There is a easy way for this. You can directly fresh install Google Chrome. By fresh install, I mean you need to have the latest version of Google Chrome without any problematic extensions. And then you can load the same website in Google Chrome and check for it. If you find the elements to be appearing properly over there, but to be problematic in a Firefox browser, that means it is a bug of web renderer, that is the Gecko in for Firefox. Now, after finding a bug, you are supposed to fill out this form. I'll be sharing you the slides at the end of the session so that you can refer to it. And if you have a GitHub account, definitely every one of us will be having a GitHub account. You can directly go to the repository and raise an issue. If they have some follow-up questions, they will get back to you. Now, I'll be showing you some examples of web renderer bugs. As you can see over here, the product image shown over here in the thumbnail is this, but it is not being effectively shown over here. This is an example of a web renderer bug. The UI element is not appearing the way it was supposed to appear. And second one is some random UI bugs. In this case, the text in the content area would be a bit off. You can see over here it is not well formatted text. This is, and I've taken these clips, screenshots from Bugzilla. They are already fixed bugs, so you need not go and report it. And the second one was random black color boxes appearing in YouTube website. This is another UI bug. And random web content on Reddit website is another bug. You can see over here the words are not appearing to be complete. There are few missing letters. So these are the three standard examples. Now I'll show you the same.
And anime lovers can definitely, if you find bugs on your anime websites, you should report it, right? As we saw anime bug right now. So
For this particular website, when I tap on buy option, it shows payment request API is not supported. Now a documentation and request API. This working well for Firefox version, Edge version, and Chrome, like for this particular browsers. And you can see over here I'm using Firefox Nightly, which you are supposed to use for bug hunting. But they say there are a few issues with it. The first one is you need to enable your dom.payment.request. I've already set this to enable from about config. They'll ask you for accepting the risk. If in case you mess up, reinstall the browser, and then they ask us to enable this particular. We can directly search it over here. As you can see, I've enabled it. And the second criteria was to change your region to the supported region. I've already done this. I've set it to India, but still I see a bug over here. It's not working. Now, as I said to you, if it works in Google Chrome, I freshly installed Google Chrome and it was working well in it. I'll show it to you people. When I tap it over here, it is the API is working well in Chrome, but it was not working Nightly. So we can go ahead and the website. If in case it is already reported, then they'll mark it as duplicate, but still it's you need to report it. How do you know someone else has reported it before? You need to go to this particular link. It is shared in UlogX website or somewhere. Okay, I'll be sharing the link later. First, you need to enter the URL of the website where you have found the bug. Then they'll ask you for the type of error. It is, I guess, site is not usable for me. I would mark it as site not usable. Anyhow, if you you need to just be close to what you feel it is. In case if it is some other bug, maybe it might be a design broken issue, they will remodify the bug. They'll like change the tag later on. And for me it was browser unsupported, I guess. Yes, I tested it in this particular browser. I tested this in Chrome. They're asking you in which other browser have you tested it. And confirm. They'll ask you to describe what happened. Then you can describe UI payment gateway API is not working. That's all. Then continue. You can upload screenshot. It's recommended to upload screenshots, but I would be skipping this for now. And then you can report it anonymously or using a GitHub ID. If you want to report it through GitHub ID, it would be appreciated, because in case they have some follow-up question regarding reproducing the bug, they can contact you, or you can report it anonymously. This would be the final step. Optional GitHub username. I've sent the report. Thank you for reporting. Yes. So the procedure. Now it's your turn, Happy Hunting people, and you can get access to all the slides through this particular link, bit.ly bughunt_2. And I've mentioned over the we're supposed to report the bugs. Over here in step 5, you need to fill out this form. Also, this form link is available on UlogX. You can show there too. Handing over to Ujjwal.
Yeah. So now the most important, so I personally believe that the most important part of any workshop or any sort of talk or anything are always questions. So, without questions, things are always incomplete. So, does any of the viewer have any question with respect to the content here or anything else? I know it's...
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah.
Yes, Ravi, can you send the link of the web compatibility bug reporting that you just showed?
Yes, 1 minute. I'll share it.
Yes, send it in the chat.
Yeah, meanwhile, I guess Rahul had a question regarding UI bug hunting to be in scope or not, right? So you can write your questions in the text box as well, and we would be happy to take it. So Rahul, this talk wasn't with respect to bug bounty hunting mainly, but you can still submit rendering engine bugs in browser specific programs. I guess a lot of browsers do have programs on HackerOne, and a few of them do have programs on Bugcrowd as well, but it's pretty rare. But UI bug hunting and its awareness is more centric to making internet and the graphics which we experience better, because non-tech people don't care much about what is happening in the backend, but they care much more about how things look. And if you take the world as a sphere or as a entire setup of, suppose if the world is of 100 people, then I don't think techies are more than 10 or 20. So with respect to that, UI bugs could be something which could cater to better needs and better understanding of graphics and how things are visually better. So in a longer span of time, it always matters that how good experience you design for anyone, right? So even as a penetration tester, if you might be doing security testing. At times security testers are expected, when there are lack of employees, they're expected to do even, parallelly, to look for best practices and all those things. In those cases, rendering engine bugs play a crucial role. Then there are a lot more varieties of bugs, but since Mozilla had the initiative of bug hunt of UI, so we thought, why not this. I think that should be clear. Any extension?
Also, I would like to add up, like, everyone might be aware of this. Whenever we program something, 80% or 90% of our code is about rectifying bugs, about covering corner cases, about handling various issues, and 10% of the algorithm is the core, where most of the time our program work. Very crucial. It's not something to be taken lightly. And if we report the bug to the community, they will fix it, and it is you would get an opportunity to join the community and
Yeah, right. I absolutely agree with Ravi, because at times we don't cherish things, but bug hunting is something which makes your development complete. At times you might write the algorithm or code which you require at least hard coded stuff in few hours, but then making it better and better, rectifying it over time, and finding bugs and then fixing it, and where we go to Stack Overflow and other places, or right. So that is a process which drives you to perfection. Very small changes altogether, like d by dx coming up together to become x, right? I mean, the differentiation integration concept. So that happening here is something which completes your process, and it you find a bug and then you fix it. Can you imagine the kind of satisfaction we get out of it? Yeah, my program is finally complete. It's, that's something. Even though bug is taken in a negative way, but I feel it leverages to a very positive sphere of development and understanding and learning. That's my opinion. If anyone has any questions or anything to add upon. Any questions with regard to anything? Actually, you could ask even questions about the Mozilla community, and I think Abhijit would be very happy to answer about it.
I guess even you people can fix the bugs if
Yeah.
you are a good developer, and you can contact Abhijit for like knowing the procedure for the same.
It's honestly very simple. Even if you're not a developer, you're just an internet user. Sorry to cut you, Ravi. Yeah. So if you're just an internet user, you're browsing a website, suppose from a different browser, and you encounter something going wrong. So you can just go and write about it and get it fixed. That satisfaction which you will get, that your change, that one particular change which you have bought, has contributed to everything else. Like every other developer or visitor who comes to that website gets to, gets that good experience, might be because of that small change you bought in. So it matters always. Like, that's what builds up. Anyone has any questions or anything? Did we do that good job? Yeah, I think Suraj has a question. I think Abhijit should be in a good position to answer this.
Okay, so Suraj is saying, I am new to the Mozilla community. I am exploring front-end dev. I tried exploring the Mozilla project. I am confused that where should I start? Okay, so Suraj, for this particularly, there is this particular communication channel that Mozilla has, that is chat.mozilla.org. Inside that, we have a specific channel for Mozilla frontend. So I'll just send you the link to it in a couple minutes, and there you can get in touch with Mozilla frontend developers and figure out where exactly do you fit in the Mozilla community for the frontend stack. I'll just send the link in a few minutes.
Also, I believe that Mozilla community, the link which Abhijit specified, chat.mozilla.org, has a lot of content for everyone altogether. If you're a cybersecurity enthusiast, there are threads for security. and really active community. There are threads for developers, front end, back end, and whatnot. So there's always something you could explore and you could give back to the community and do something out of it.
Also, it's a learning uh, procedure. Like you'll get to learn a lot. Fixing bugs will help you while even when you like do competitive coding. Most of the things revolve around fixing corner cases rather than optimizing the solution exactly. So you need to be aware like what all kind of bugs might arise, and bug hunting would be setting up a base for you in case if you're new to it. Anyone having any questions?
Also, to the people who were expecting security bug hunting session, sorry to disappoint you, but this is something which was worth learning. And apart from that, soon we will be having like an enough set of security based sessions. So I think that should help. I think everyone has got their doubts cleared, or it's cool. I think we did a good job then. So, Abhijit, can we wrap up the session, or is there anything else we could do?
Yes, I think it was a good session and we can wrap it up. For the question that Suraj asked, I have just sent the link to the Mozilla front-end community where exactly we can get in touch with that. Or anyone else can also go to that link and figure out whatever channel they fit in within Mozilla. There are hundreds of channels. So that's how you can get in touch with the official Mozilla community. It has employees from Mozilla, it has volunteers, representatives. That is the one communication channel that all Mozilla related people where they communicate. If you want to get in touch with the Mozilla Bangalore, the Mozilla Karnataka community in particular, then for that I've sent the community.mozilla.org link. It's there in the chat, so you can join that. I'll just send that again. We also have a Telegram group if you want to get involved, talk locally. It's not an official communication channel, but mostly we like communicating on Telegram. So I just sent the link to that, and I think that's it for the event. So we can wrap it up. Thank you everyone, and thank you Ujjwal and Ravi for the presentation.
Thanks,
And
Abhijit.
hopefully we can see people getting involved with the Hunt from Home campaign.
Yeah.
I have also sent the link to the Hunt from Home campaign. Have I?
Yeah, you have sent it. It was the first message which you had sent. So,
Yes, just let me send that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sending the official link for the Mozilla Hunt from Home Phase 2 campaign. So if you want to get involved with this campaign, then that is the official link and you can find all the information there. And of course, for any doubts, you can get in touch with us at the Mozilla Karnataka community, whether on Telegram or on Matrix. So I think that's it.
yeah. Thanks
Okay.
for attending,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you everyone for attending this session.
Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Bye.